Holy shit. All right, here we go. I had to go live because I was getting my fucking ass handed to me. Welcome to a brand new episode of No More Heroes. It's me, Andy Malfrio, with my co-host, Pat, the Grateful Dead. George, Pat, how you doing, buddy?
I'm fantastic, Andy. A lot better than you, my friend.
You are a lot better than me. I'm a know-nothing, no jiu-jitsu knowledge piece of shit. But we got a dude who knows a lot about jiu-jitsu on the line today. Doc JM Holland. How you doing, buddy?
Same old, man. I can't complain. Everything's beautiful. Life is good.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. Owner-operator of 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu in Nazareth, PA, if you guys are interested. I was doing a podcast forever ago. I was doing a podcast during the pandemic, and then I forget why I stopped doing it, but I was looking for interesting guests and shit, and I hit up JM, and then we were talking recently, like, yo, that was fun. Let's do it again. So we're having them back on.
Yeah, that was...
Go ahead, Pat.
No, I was just gonna say you just brought up the pandemic, and as you also brought up that JM was the gym owner. That was a really treacherous time for a lot of gyms, especially jiu-jitsu gyms in general. How'd you navigate that as somebody who probably also has their own opinions about all of that in general? But like, I think I saw a post of yours where you had the cheeky the paper on the windows and stuff like that. I always loved. To my beliefs or my thoughts were like so weird because like I was still training every single day up until they said you can't train anymore because everybody's sick, and I'm like, literally nobody's getting sick. But
you do jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. I'm a purple belt out of Harrisburg.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Hell yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, that was the ball busting I was giving Andy earlier. I was kind of saying like if we get into jiu-jitsu talk, I don't want him to get too, in the weeds.
Well, just keep leaning on the door, dude. Eventually it'll open, he'll fall right in,
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Actually, when we get to Austin, I am planning on, he's going to show me how to lift, and I'm going to show him how to grapple. So it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, I do powerlifting. Pat does jiu-jitsu. We're going to teach each other our skills. Because that's always been my thing, is like, I don't know. I never grew up fighting. I don't really know I know how to fucking break things and hurt people potentially, but I don't know how to actually like fight. So it's definitely in a fight. It's probably more of like a fear-based routine and shit. So learning jiu-jitsu and stuff was always like a big, one of the big things on my to-do list.
Better to need it or better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it,
100%.
Right. Yeah. So were you a gym owner during the pandemic? And was that like, tell us about like, I guess generally you don't have to get into it because that's probably a pretty traumatic time.
Well, when it first broke out, it was pretty much Call of Duty for 2 weeks. We gave them the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We sat around for 2 weeks. We were like, this is fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
It didn't take us long. We knew kind of this. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I thought it was all, scamdemic, all that shit, all of it, So I'm not vaccinated. I don't know how you guys want to feel. How I don't want to get into it, but
no.
Get into it. Whatever. We're
Eddie Bravo is a big conspiracy theorist. That's who I got my black belt from. So
right.
He was talking about this for, he was kind of helping us like, and I'm in an affiliation with over 100 other gyms. So everyone, it was the first thing that it was kind of worldwide that affected all these people at the same time.
Well, it's something that you see that like during the time there was a lot of panic and there was a lot of misinformation being put out there, and there was certain kinds of information that was being subdued and suppressed and stuff like that. But now you're kind of seeing a lot of people going like, oh, it kind of, look at this coming out, look at this coming out, and no matter what, like I feel like it was also a lot of it was a personal like kind of opinion of a lot of people. But like you said, you gave them 2 weeks that we did the lower the curve or whatever. But after that, it's like, it's got to feel so good to have the support, like a boss, or like, let's say like a head, like, cause I don't know if it's an affiliation. Obviously you're the gym owner of
right.
Bethlehem or Nazareth, but
How
like,
dare you? Don't ever say in my
that's my bad. That's absolutely my bad. I'm a Floridian. But to have the support of somebody like Eddie Bravo, like where like he's going to back all of his gyms 100% no matter what.
I mean it's he don't care. It's it's he's saying what he's gonna say, and he puts out what he puts out, but it makes you think a little more critically than the average person that's going. I mean, my wife works in healthcare. She was pregnant. I had a baby in September of 2020.
Oh wow.
I had my son. He's 3 now. So yeah, I lost my gym. Closed our gym. We had to open it back up. We did a lot of stuff online. You had to learn how to hustle. Because but I mean, dude, I think nowadays people see things a little more clearly. We don't have to speak up about it because people are going to see or they're not. And you just let them ride how, you're going to ride it out how you ride it out. Everyone's free to do what they please,
I wanted to ask you, just said we're able to see more clearly now. How was that? Because as someone who, you were saying you didn't shut down your gym, you didn't get vaccinated, you sort of saw through a lot of the shit. One of my biggest regrets from COVID was I would, because I don't know if I was fully like out of the matrix yet. I think I maybe had like a little my pinky toe or two still in. So like I was naive to certain things. I was definitely, when I learned more about the vaccine, I realized how naive I was to how truly like evil the government could be and different things like that. But a big problem for me was I had a lot of podcasts and stuff I listened to that was like saying things I agreed with. I didn't have a lot, and I still love all my friends, but I was just I felt the pressure just because a lot of other people were not necessarily on the same wavelength. Were you? Go ahead.
Social pressure is huge, man.
Yeah, that was like the biggest thing that fucked me up during the pandemic is the social pressure surrounding me on that. But you were saying with having like Eddie Bravo at the helm, was it a different experience for you?
I think it was. I felt the same things. People. I mean, I remember getting kicked out of Chipotle because I had a towel over my face instead of a mask, or fucking. I mean, dude.
Yeah,
it's clown world. Clown. Yeah. It's inverted world out here. What's good is bad. What's bad is good.
Yeah.
Classic stuff. You just got to have faith and understand that your brain works. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Eddie is always someone that I can look to for guidance. You know what I mean? He's a smart dude. He's a brilliant guy. So, a couple of my guys are actually down in Austin this weekend competing at the EBI Open.
Oh, nice.
And so they're spending time with him this weekend, and they did great. My cousin Josh, he's 24 years old. He's down in Austin. He did really well. He got 4th place. He's fighting grown men. He's 24 years old. He's a stud.
Hell yeah.
My guy, Dave Weintraub, he's been training with me since he's a brown belt, about 4 years now. He's a black belt now, stud. Vitor Shaolin black belt. Nice. He went down there and won 1st place. So yeah, Eddie is a text message away or a phone call away, so, but he's always been preaching, even Joe, like Joe Rogan, he's the man. Obviously he's done so much for jiu-jitsu and for comedy, and I don't ever want to disrespect him, but he was definitely being held in restraint. You couldn't say what you wanted to because it's not the right time,
Right. Yeah.
I actually follow a guy. He's a comedian. He kind of got canceled too. His name's Owen Benjamin. You guys ever hear of this dude?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. I like his style. He's just out in Idaho. Well, now he's in somewhere else, but I listen to his podcast. Like he has a stream. He does like 3 hours every day of him just ranting about. I mean, he goes down some crazy rabbit holes. He talks about shit.
Yeah.
He talks about anything.
Yeah.
So,
I used to listen to his podcast every once in a while. He was the first guy that made me question the moon landing. Because I remember I never even considered it, and then on one of his episodes, I guess he pointed out some info. They had like test footage that they were just like, yeah, we taped over that. And I go, you did what?
Yeah.
Like you just
it's not a wedding video. Like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah. If 9/11 didn't get you, you know what I mean? It like I try to bring up flat Earth, like just because it's a joke. It's because sometimes it just pisses people off just to to get a rise out of people, But if you can't get past the moon landing, you watch too much internet porn. Like if you think that's you just watch too much porno. You can't see.
Yeah,
your brain is pornoed up, and it's not just. It's not all porno is gay porno.
Some of us can do both.
Yeah, me and Pat are really good at multitasking.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, we're kind of ambidextrous that way, literally. Also,
mm-hmm.
Dude, 9/11 was the one, because I remember I was hyped because I was scrolling through Amazon and it had this back on it, but it was Zeitgeist back in college. I checked it. It's on fucking Amazon. I'm gonna rewatch it just to get.
That's the beginner. That's the 101 course for conspiracy theories. The Zeitgeist. Yeah.
And someone had Zeitgeist on in college, and I walk in and I like go, "What the hell is this? You guys are a bunch of idiots." And then I kind of like sat down and I go, "Huh, that's weird." Yeah, that was kind of weird. And I think that was because I used to watch conspiracy shit and laugh at it. And then I just heard enough solid arguments that I was like, all right, well, all of this can't be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I started.
Yeah, Zeitgeist was a good one. I mean, I always kind of knew about like psychedelics even when I was a kid. I didn't take psychedelics till I was a grown up.
Yeah.
But that definitely did me in pretty well. But dude, it's you have to be willing to tell yourself the truth. You got to take a good look in the mirror, man. Like, it's not, people want to point the finger at like, well, this is why my life sucks because this guy, the government shut down, or these type of people did this, and it's just all personal. It's all on you to make it happen for yourself. You can't really be blaming people for your situation. So
yeah, there's something about personal responsibility that a lot of adults don't seem to grasp nowadays. It's like, there's a lot of you're in a shitty situation, but you're gonna have to fucking get yourself out of it because you can't rely on other people. We don't hey, let's switch topics a little because I want to know, as a jiu-jitsu practitioner,
you tell we don't have a lot of guests on.
No, I'm excited to have a jiu-jitsu guest. That's what I'm excited about. I was gonna ask, like, what do you love? Like, what do you think you like? Because like I guess I there's parts of jiu-jitsu that I really love about it, but I really love the fact of the martial arts, the arts aspect of it, like the fluidity and like kind of the freedom of it. And 10th Planet is like a huge, like obviously a huge purveyor of doing your own fucking thing. Like I do a lot of lockdown, a lot of like banana splits, a lot of leg locks, a lot of fun weird shit that's like that probably like that is like not, I don't even know if you would call it not traditional, but I love the fact of like kind of finding your own thing. What do you personally like? What drew you to jiu-jitsu, do you think?
Well, I think I knew since I was a kid that I wanted to be a teacher, a martial arts instructor. I wanted my own school even when I was young. I started training when I was a little kid. And I've been through multiple different scenarios as far as who I was training with, teams and all this and that and all that politics bullshit. Mm-hmm. I'm finally at a place now where I own my own gym and I'm my own boss. I'm 34 years old. So that's cool. It's just a vehicle for human development, man. It's any endeavor, dude, like whether it's weightlifting or hockey, anything you undertake, jiu-jitsu is something that you can do, for yourself, for your life. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm doing it to be the biggest, baddest. For a time, I was trying to be the biggest, baddest motherfucker I could. Mm-hmm. Now I'm, a dad and a school owner. It's more of me pursuing my 10.0 version of myself. You know what I mean? Like, I still got a lot of work to do, but it's a vehicle for your human development, man. Like, that sounds corny as fuck. I know that sounds
no, not at all.
Shit, but it really is. Like, jiu-jitsu is going to give you every reason to quit. It's going to give you every reason to give up and hate it and talk shit and get negative and bitter. But if you work through your bad days, if you don't give up, you know what I mean, you'll have something. You know what I mean? So I've done some crazy shit in jiu-jitsu, man. I've been part of some of the coolest shit in jiu-jitsu that's went down. You name a show, I've been there. I've been to Japan. I've done seminars in Greece. I got to do Who's Number One. I've been to ADCC before.
Have you gotten to do any of or be a part of any of the quintets?
Yeah. I have a student. Well, she's a black belt now. She's on her own. She does her own thing. Her name's Grace Gundrum. She's probably one of the best 10th Planet kids there's ever been. She's a black belt now, and she did that quintet out in Japan.
Yeah, I love
female quintet.
Oh man,
she beat Rikako Yuasa. She drew with Rikako Yuasa. She's a 4-time world champ.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Grace was the one, dude. She was like Neo in the Matrix.
anybody that's not familiar, the quintet tournament format it was something that was created, I believe, by Sakuraba. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, I met Sakuraba, dude.
Dude, you
Shit's
want
a
to
man's
talk
hand,
about
dude.
you want to talk about fucking fangirling out?
Mhm.
I'm a guy who's always worn band shirts. I've always worn everything. I have a Kasushi Sakuraba shirt of him like fucking flying and punching Hoist Gracie.
Yeah.
And I've gotten more compliments on that shirt. I am more flattered about that because that dude, I know he wouldn't understand a goddamn word I'm saying. I wouldn't understand a goddamn word he's saying, but I'd probably hug him. He'd probably try to choke me out, and I'd want a picture of it.
No, he's really cool, man. He doesn't know any English, but he's actually like in Japan, they don't think that he's a big deal over here. And I was telling him like, dude, you're such a big deal over here. Like Sakuraba is god of martial arts, dude.
Yeah,
for real.
He created this tournament style where basically you get 5 team, I believe it's 5 each on each side, 5 teammates, and you each start. And if one side beats the person on this side, they go on to the next person on the list. And one teammate could wipe out one whole side. If not, they draw, and both people are eliminated. And at the end of it, there's no weight class, there's no right.
The team has to make a certain amount of weight.
Oh, okay. So it's like a collective weight.
Your team of 5 might have to weigh in under 850 pounds.
Right. But
if the strategy is crazy, because if you go really heavy, let's say you get a girl that's like 200 pounds, now you have to be light the rest of the way because you went with a big, woman.
You start out heavy and then you go. So like I would be the guy who you would all use like at least 2 or 3 members on. Like,
we would have to. You would have to be really good to be that heavy. Yeah.
I'm not good enough to be as heavy as I am. But yeah, that's a tournament style that I would. That's like one of those. If it's like UFC, like getting to go to a UFC, like right under that is a quintet because that is like.
It was awesome. It was
so
awesome. Good. It was in Japan, dude, and the Japanese crowd and Grace is a little kid. She's huge in Japan, dude. Grace is the man. So.
That's awesome.
Maybe we'll see her back out there. I don't know. We'll see.
Hopefully, I'm excited to see him out there anytime I get to. So like I go back and watch his fights all the time. Sorry, Andy, I feel like I'm hogging JM. I apologize.
No, I'm actually thoroughly enjoying it. I like listening to 2 people talk passionately about something I know nothing about. So I'm enjoying this. What was his name? Sakuraba? Is there like a specific reason he's the man, or is he just the best at it?
He was considered he was like a Japanese pro wrestler. Like he like smoked cigarettes and like drink alcohol and like he would like beat all the Gracies.
Yeah.
Like, the Gracies would come over to Japan and he would beat he beat Hoyler. He broke Kenzo's arm. Yeah. I don't want to disrespect the Gracies.
But that's no disrespect, but he's one of his monikers is the /Gracie killer /Gracie hunter. Like so he's that guy, but he also has like the time he fought Hoist Gracie, when he came out to the ring, he came out in a wrestling mask with 2 other people that were also dressed like they were going to fight in wrestling masks. And like until they announced his name, they were all just standing in the corner like you
didn't know which one. Yeah.
And it's just like gimmick.
It's Pride Month too, so this is good that we're talking about Sakuraba.
Yeah. What is it?
It's Pride Month, so it's good we're talking about Sakuraba.
Oh snap!
And not anal intercourse.
Sorry, that's just a great way to describe it.
It's what it is, though. You know what I mean? No one wants to say it, but it's
yeah. Did you guys see the thing from the? Actually, speaking of Pride Month, did you see the thing from it was a Pride parade and a Free Palestine protest? They fucking they met each other. They didn't know how to deal with it. Yeah,
I gotta tell you, I don't know how to deal with it.
Well, because there's the joke that they always go to where they'll be like gays for Palestine, and then everyone's like, you know what they'll fucking do, right, dude? And then
they don't like you. Yeah, they don't really enjoy that. Yeah,
but no, I hear you on the Pride stuff. It definitely is interesting how every big corporation got along with that. It's like it was planned or something.
I heard Miss Rachel?
No.
Miss
Oh, yeah.
Rachel. I have a kid. I have a son, so we watch Miss Rachel. But she's bringing the Bud Light guy. Remember the Bud Light guy?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the guy
Yeah.
that was
So now everyone's like, "Oh, I'm never watching her again." Da da da. You know, dude. It's so. Just leave my kids alone. That's it. I don't care if you're gay, dude. Just leave the kids out of it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know, like I have no situation. You know, if you can't take a joke, that's on you. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
you know, if you're gay, I've had gay students in jiu-jitsu that are gay as the day is bright, knowing like gay, like very like flagrant gay, you know, and never bothered me as, you know, I'll roll with you, I'll, you know, whatever. And just it's not that big a deal, you know, but when you're like, you know, when you're throwing it in your face and it's kid stuff and there's a line, you know.
Well, that was never really a thing. I don't remember that being a thing necessarily back in the day with like growing up with like Barney or anything like that. Like when there's like a social issue or a person that is like standing for a whatever their politics are, having to be on like Sesame Street or something like that. But they have introduced, you know, like wasn't there a character on Sesame Street that had AIDS or something like that?
No.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I'm almost certain there was. Like if I'm pretty sure there was one of the obviously puppets, not wouldn't that, well, I guess wouldn't it make more sense if it was a person? Because it makes sense why a person would get AIDS, but it doesn't make sense why a puppet would get AIDS.
No. Wait, they have an AIDS puppet?
That's why I got AIDS.
Yeah,
dude. That's what happened.
I'm pretty sure a couple years ago. I think it's an orange one.
AIDS was like a thing, and now it's not anymore, right? Like AIDS is nothing now.
Now it's like you can like take Qulipta and you're fine.
Yeah,
like,
that's like COVID too, man. That was all a thing, right? Eddie has a great bit on AIDS. He has a hilarious bit on AIDS. Like he takes you through the history of AIDS, where like first it was like only gay guys got it, then girls started getting it, then it's like, oh shit, like you can get it from blowjobs. You know what I mean? Like it was terrifying in the early '90s for AIDS. You know, now it's like, you know.
Well, that's a big part of I'm reading through the real Anthony Fauci, and that was a big part. People forget about him because I forget the specifics, but he was a component of getting everyone extra shook about AIDS.
Oh yeah,
where it really,
that's his job.
Yeah, he gets hired to get everyone fucking gassed up, but no, because apparently like I think we all know now that like it was basically a thing that gay dudes would get, but it got people so scared that they thought if they played on the court with Magic Johnson, like they'd get it from the sweat on the ball or some shit. But that's just that's like the bitch of it with all this stuff where, you know, you got guys like Anthony Fauci where, you know, the government's supposed to be there to help us, but they're in there basically getting us the most fucking scared. And it brings it back to the conversation we were talking about earlier, why like, you know, COVID was so rough because of goddamn, even thinking about it with sorry, I don't mean to bounce all over the place, but I'm just having a realization thinking about it with the pride stuff is it's constant. Like they attack your mental with the constant conflation. So if you're annoyed about, you know, Bank of America, like everything has a rainbow flag on it, Raytheon, Bank of America, and you sit and then you look at the pride parades and there's a dude with assless chaps walking a guy in a gimp mask, and you're like, isn't that kind of weird? And then it's always the constant conflation of people like, so you fucking hate gay people. And you're like, no, I just think I think it's weird the weapons company gives a shit and there's a gimp going down Main Street. Like that's fucking weird.
If my wife and I were making out in front of a bunch of kids, wouldn't that be weird?
Exactly.
Yeah, like it's weird. You know what I mean? Like don't, you know, do it in your house. You know what I mean? People do things to get the reaction. You know, so
yeah, like we're all adults. Like we all sensibly know that people being gay in, near, or around people isn't going to infect them. It's going to hurt them or anything like that. But like you said, in the matter of like being morally, like what we're doing, making out, two people making out in front of kids or anything like that, or performing a weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like wearing.
That's not. You're not wrong for thinking that's weird.
No,
and not wanting your kid around that. It's across the board. You know, gay people are great, man. They make the world a better place to live a lot of the time. It's just when it's, you know, it's a war for your mind out here, bro. It's a war for, Dude, Satan's playing. It's Satan's playground out here, dude.
But we always joke about like, why do you have to have it at the kids thing? Like, why do you have to for it? We all know, yes, it doesn't hurt anybody, but we're also like, why do you have to? Why do you? What's the appeal?
I mean, the Hollywood and the kids, dude, and adrenochrome and Epstein and all this shit, dude. It's all connected. It has nothing to do with ordinary gay people. It has to do with people that are fucked up and that are evil, satanic motherfuckers that just they vibe at that frequency, man, and that's what they're after, dude. They're out for it. You gotta watch your kids. I got a daughter that's 4 days old at home right now, dude. I'm scared to death. Even just, dude, I go on my Instagram, it's all porno anymore. Yeah. Go on your explore page. I just started liking motorcycles a lot on my Instagram, so I don't have to see like. I mean, you see the girls that are like making videos where they're just like, oh, yeah, they're just like this, like they're like it's like half pornos on Instagram. It's like,
dude, I'm not even. I gotta be honest. On a personal level, I like a lot of those videos, but like in the context, like there's one dude where I've seen a couple occasionally where girls are literally, it's either the real thing or they're like pretending to have cum all over their face.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're sitting there like. You're sitting there like, hey, in the right context, hell yeah. But like on my Instagram account, I'm like, this is crazy, man. Yeah. That's my biggest thing where is I'm not even like, I think some of the stuff goes a little far, but it's like, I'm not even anti-horny stuff. It's the fact that like everything's so fucking horny now. Like that, like, and it does feel like an overarching process where they're trying to take all these like taboos and sort of mesh them into normal life, where I don't even know if taboo is the right word, but it's just like stuff where you're like, hey man, do it at home. It's not a big deal, but it's like meshing this into like normal day-to-day stuff is weird as hell, man.
Yeah. I think there's like a weird thing where like it used to be Twitter was the app that I couldn't open in public. You know what I mean? Because like it would be like, no, there's eventually gonna be some kind of crazy graphic thing that I don't want somebody next to me seeing on my phone. But like now it's like Instagram's that way, fucking Facebook even sometimes. Dude, like if one of my friends gets hacked on Facebook or some shit like that in their stories is just like it's just as crazy as fucking Twitter or anything like that. They're just like a lot of them, I think, probably are getting hacked on probably porn websites, which is also very funny. You're just kind of like, I see how many times you're getting hacked, you idiot. Like, it's happened multiple times.
Nothing's free, man. I'm not saying I don't partake in the self-plesh every once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
But there used to be the corner of the internet that you go to for that. Like now that corner has gotten to the whole dance floor. You know what I mean?
It's everywhere, man. It's a war, bro. They want you jerking off with fucking the visor on. Dude, it's just going to be in 20 years, dude, it's just going to be a bunch of dudes like piped in to their fucking shit with like a machine on their cock, like fucking working it for them. Like,
it's going to be that video. It's gonna be that video Jordan Peterson actually retweeted.
Yeah.
Or accidentally retweeted. Dude, it was so funny. It was like, it was something like, it was supposed to be like a facility to milk men, but it was actually just from some like weird fucked up movie. But Jordan Peterson retweeted like, can you believe this is happening? It's so fucking funny. But no, for real though, like I always joke, like I think you ever watch Wall-E where everyone's just fat as shit sitting in those chairs?
Yeah.
I unironically go, there's a bunch of people that want that for us, just so we can be these like vessels that they get. I don't know, like we're just constantly consuming. They get some sort of fucking fuel from us or something. Cause it's everything, man. It's like
you give people fried chicken, buckets of KFC and porno, dude. They're not going to complain. You know what I mean? They're not going to be like, oh, wow, like our fucking democracy is falling apart right in front of our face. You know what I mean? Like our whole fucking way of life, you know, it's scary, but you know, like you said, people want to point at all the things that are going wrong, and then they live a life where they're voting for that. You know what I'm saying? Like when you spend money or give this attention or whatever, you're voting, you're putting energy towards that. You know, like I'm a new dad. You know what I mean? I got a 3-year-old son. I got a 4-day-old baby girl. So I'm really trying to rise above the bullshit. You know.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because that was I think about that sometimes where like I have well my nephew's now like 15, but I remember he got a cell phone at 11 and just seeing how everything is like I'm like, dude, that has to be fucking insane to be a kid now. It has to be insane. Like, how do you I know you said your 4-day-old daughter, your son's very young. How do you maneuver that as a dad?
I don't know. They're young right now, so it's kind of easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's me, it's my wife. You know what I mean, and the family and stuff. But I'm sure when they get older, we're gonna have to deal with it. You know what I mean? Like even TV. Sometimes my son knows how to work a phone. He'll sit on the phone and knows how to go on YouTube. He's 3.5 years old.
Yeah.
And he'll go on YouTube, and sometimes it'll he'll scroll through the side, and next thing you know, he's like watching some Chinese shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Like it's fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like it's the internet, man. It's the internet. It's a tool. It can be used in a positive way, but it can also be used in the worst way imaginable. You know what I mean? It's a weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a level of weird, like it's a weird thing because you're right. It's almost like how people are like addicted to food. You know what I mean? Like where it's like technically, literally, you need food as fuel to to keep your body going, but then there's also like you got to choose the correct shit. I feel
Yeah,
like
man.
the same way about the internet. Like it's one of those things that like it's not necessary in the same way that food is, but it's close nowadays. Like there's so many ways that it makes your life so much easier, but there's so many potholes and there's so many ways to get yourself fucked completely and literally.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But like it's like a literal it's a minefield of like I get scared out there, dude. Like it's a thing where like I don't want to. I wish so much so that I had the level of fame or something that I could have somebody just do social media for me or do that, because it would be so much easier if there wasn't that pressure or that or whatever. Do you feel any kind of pressure or anything like that as far as like social media presence as a business owner or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not the best at social media. Like I've had to learn to control my emotions and what I
Yeah.
put out there, because
Yeah.
whatever you put out is what you're going to get back. So sometimes if I'm feeling negative about something, I would go to the internet and vent and fucking tell people how I really feel, which is like bleeding in front of a shark. You know what I mean? That's not what you want
Yeah.
to do. You know what I mean? So you have to be. It's Game of Thrones out here, man. People are looking for any kind of weakness. You know what I mean? They're going to attack your weakness and they're going to take advantage. So
Right.
and I don't want to be Mr. Squeaky clean on the internet either, because dude, I just want to be myself and bring who I bring through and be around people that are, cool and are happy for you. You know what I mean? Like, you got people in your midst that are envy, haters, they're enemies. You know what I mean? They're right around you. You know what I mean? So
You should be given the same opportunity to find your audience or your people essentially the same way. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing I've learned. That is the only really, I think, true redeeming quality of the internet is the fact that it shows how truly small and relatable a lot of the world is. Like most people are, I think, very similar to, they're pretty sane. They're pretty, like, they pretty just want to live their existence, keep their family safe, have a nice life. And you know what I mean? Like they're not necessarily all bent on world domination or hurting or harming anyone. But like there's something about the internet that also brings out the worst in people. So like you're able to show that there's a lot of people that think like you, but then there's a lot of people that fucking hate you because of the way you think. So it's like as much as it helped, it seems like it hurt. And I feel like it'd be nice if we just did away with it and we, stop this stream and maybe we just did the campfire series.
Well, the internet's set up in a special type of way where like you can go down certain rabbit holes or certain hashtags or whatever, and you could feel however you want. And I think that's a big thing I've been learning is like a lot of the stuff I do, it's all around a lot, like besides stand-up comedy, it's all around things on the internet. But if you get too internet, you get like this warped perspective of reality, because kind of The internet's trying to keep you there. So it's trying to throw things at you that give you a reaction. So like you're either getting the best version or something, or the worst version of something. And it's usually if you're not looking at dogs or cats, it's usually the worst version of something. Yeah. So you just get
a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
A lot of people that are really good at stuff aren't even on the internet like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a really good point.
I saw something that you posted about Alex Jones. That's actually why I hit you up, because you posted something about Alex Jones.
Oh yeah.
About like feeling weird about posting something with Alex Jones.
Yeah.
No, I remember I was because I was joking with my wife, because like I'm moving down to Austin soon, and one of the things is like I'm trying to meet. I don't even like watch a show regularly, but I respect the dude and I want to meet him. I want to get on InfoWars and shit like that. And then my wife's joking about that, like, oh, that sucks. You can't post a picture with him though, because that would and I was like, oh, I don't give a shit about that. And it's not even like, I don't even want to turn it into like this fucking, I'm so cool, I post a picture. But like, it's this thing where I don't want to, because I've talked about before, I used to let that shit bother me, and I've seen where it's gotten me. It doesn't get you anywhere good. So it's like any of that like subconscious pressure to not do a certain thing because a big group of idiots don't like that you did it. It's like, well, that's the reason we have bad shit, is because we have a bunch of people getting worried about that. So, it's like, I'm not trying to turn into a big fucking political statement, but it's like, yeah, that would be a thing where I'm I wouldn't want to be worried about. I don't want to live a life, because I have some of those friends where if they did a cool thing like that, they'd be like, oh, but I can't post that. And I go, that existence feels like I'm in a fucking mental prison. I don't want to, and if it makes shit a little bit more difficult, I don't want to exist in some shit like that at all.
I've thought about
I met Alex Jones.
Oh, really? You did?
Yeah. When Grace did a Who's Number One match at in Austin, and we were down there in Austin, and Eddie Bravo brought Alex Jones with him.
Nice. How was it?
Oh, dude, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I got Grace landed a twister on this girl, and in the middle of her match, she made the finals of the whole tournament against like one of the best in the world. She drew with her. She lost the decision, but she got second place. But she crushed it. Alex Jones was in the crowd, like yelling at Grace in the middle of her match. I met him backstage and stuff. We got to take pictures and stuff, and it was unreal. So yeah, if you're moving to Austin, dude, if you want to get in with 10th Planet Austin, that wouldn't be a bad idea. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I should do that.
Be sick.
I didn't even think about that.
Duh. 10th Planet Austin. That would be fucking sick.
The place that I was getting recommended was well, we don't have to say it. I was
gonna say it. It won't hurt my feelings.
Paragon, I think, was the name of it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's where Jeff Glover came from, right?
I think so. Yeah, it was mainly just because I think of where our apartment is. But if
Austin's pretty much like the new mecca of jiu-jitsu right now. I would say it's between Austin.
Yeah, I'm not going to get it.
It's not even really close, to be honest with you. They all moved to Austin.
Yeah, because A team and B team.
Donaher, B team.
Yeah.
10th Planet. They're all down in Austin. So
yeah,
you got a great opportunity there.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is I'm excited to the people that I get to train with, because Andy, if you're excited about meeting Alex Jones, I want this scenario. I want to go and compete in Austin and have Alex Jones screaming my name. Yeah. That's what I want. Come on, man, you got that right.
He called. You want to know what he did?
Huh.
There's this guy, Murillo Santana.
Mm-hmm.
He's a legend, man. He runs a school called Unity. I don't know if he's still up at Unity in New York City. But Murillo Santana, he's got this deep voice. He's like, oh, Brazilian guy. He's like, oh, sure, he's really deep voice. And Alex Jones is in the crowd, like mocking him. Because he's like coaching a student against my student, and Alex Jones is like, oh, my voice is so deep. You know what I mean? Like loud. You know how Alex Jones is. Like there's a crowd of like 500 people or 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Dead quiet in a jiu-jitsu match, and Alex Jones is making fun of this dude. And then Murillo goes like, suck my dick, like right in the middle of the fight. I was like, holy shit, can you believe this is happening? Like Alex Jones and Murillo Santana are talking shit.
So that's the thing. That's how you get around it, Andy. You take the picture you take with Alex Jones is you at a jiu-jitsu competition. So that way, if anybody tries to give you shit, you'd be like, well, I'll kick your ass.
Oh, also, dude, he's rolling with Eddie. So
And he also wasn't there. Who was it? It was Craig Jones that was on his podcast on
Yeah, Craig
InfoWars.
choked him out. Yeah.
Choked him out unconscious.
Yeah.
Oh, is that who that? Well, I remember seeing that.
B Team also trains in Austin. So those like the gyms I was originally thinking about training at was like B Team. And I was like, first of all, I don't know if I can afford it. And also I don't want to get my fucking arm ripped off. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't get beat up.
I wouldn't imagine unless you were a fucking asshole, that wouldn't happen. You know what I mean?
I would just,
well, now you got it, Pat. I wouldn't go there. He said if you're fucking asshole.
He said not an asshole. So like I would have to go to.
You're fucked. You're
I mean,
actually.
that can happen to you here. If you're an asshole here, I'm gonna handle business. You know what I mean?
I thought that was cool. I thought that's why you were like, hey, no, we have asshole class on Sundays. But I still think there's like a thing with like Alex Jones. That whole mindset of like not or meeting him or taking a picture and not posting it because of what people might think. There's a lot of times where like I feel like I get you know, I would think about those situations and you're like, think about the people that would bitch about that. Do you care what they think normally?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so like you have to think about it. Like you have to be able to what is it? Yeah,
Compartmentalize.
That's it. That's the word. I don't know what it means, and I also can't say it. But you have to be able to take that and say like that. You know, those people. I don't really give a shit what they think anyway. So let them talk shit if they want to. But also, I know that I think this guy's cool as shit because he's talking shit to this jiu-jitsu guy with a deep voice and everything like that. But like. I just think like overall, like you can't worry about like what people think, but especially people that you don't give a shit about. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, and I think that's a huge problem with things nowadays because you know I've talked about this before where it's like a big currency for a lot of people is the social currency, and I know it's not a new thing, but I think with the way that like all of our needs are taken care of in a lot more accessible way. Like we can go get food. Like we have awesome big ass TVs with lots of apps and stuff on it. We can play, you know, a lot of your needs are taken care of. So the big overarching one now, which I think they're taking advantage of is your sort of social standing. So I think it's harder now, but it still holds true where, you know, you can't let the other group in your head that you're afraid of sort of dictate the way you are.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what they want, right? They want to control you.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be ready to deal with the consequences. I mean, I've dealt with them myself, you know, I've been myself and paid the price, you know, so, but now, you know, you're free of that. You know, if people don't like the way I do things, you know, they're free to leave, you know?
Right.
And once you're kind of free of that, then you're good. You know, Austin is its own animal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that's you're going into the Satan's butthole right there. You know what I mean? Like that's the mecca of it. You know what I mean? So if you don't toe the line, you know, they're going to fuck you off. You know what I mean? Like,
well, we'll see. Austin's an interesting thing because it's sort of like it's like a blue city in the middle of a red state. Now Texas is always shifting and stuff, but yeah, Austin's an interesting thing. I will say I've heard the comedy scene and stuff out there is pretty good. People are excited to see people perform and shit like that. But yeah,
that's where the best talent is right now. Like if you're trying to do something major, like that's where you should be. You know, if you're like, you know, you got the Comedy Mothership out there, you got Kill Tony out there and stuff. You got all that stuff out there. I'm sure it's cutthroat, just like anything else. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man. Best of luck.
As long as we're cutting, not throating, I think we're okay. But you know, but I feel like I think there's still like a matter of like, it's like you said, the social currency is such a huge thing, but it's like, but also it's crazy because the people that like I feel like get a lot of the respect, like or admiration, let's just say, by a lot of the artists or other people, is like the people that are like, man, isn't it great? He's got no social media. The guy doesn't even do anything, or and it's like the people that can just shut it off or not have to worry about it. It's like it's I admire that aspect of it, but also like I think like you were just talking about JM, like just like it's almost trial and error. Like you be yourself, you get fucking beat up for it, but like you just keep going until you just find the version of yourself that is also, that you can also coexist with all the other fucking dickheads out in the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
Until eventually you can just find, like, again, and having a place like a gym or something like that where you can actually have that communal feel and that family kind of atmosphere. You can build that environment and have that kind of like that thing. And
it's like a garden, man. That's how I kind of think of it. Like, you got to
right.
trim the bullshit off,
Right.
And,
Right.
it's at the end of the day, I have to spend time with everybody. You know what I mean? Who has access to me, like my kids, my family. You know what I mean? Like, it's mine. You know what I mean? I pay the bills. If something goes wrong, it's on me. So if people don't like a decision, if they don't like something I'm doing, they're free to leave. I don't want, every time I've left a situation like a gym or something like that, it's always been like a fuck you, never come back type thing.
Yeah.
And that's not how I want it to be for when I'm on that end of things. Like, if I have to leave, have someone leave, like, people get pissed off, but then I try to, as a jiu-jitsu instructor, I always try to just leave people better than I found them.
Right.
That's my mission. Like, if you're better off than when we started, whether or not you're still training with me, like, good,
Yeah.
and whether you're training at a competitor's gym afterwards and talking shit on me that I suck and I'm a mean guy, I mean, whatever, dude. You don't pay my bills anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
my priority is to the people that pay my bills, that come to my classes, that show me with action that they give a shit and they're trying. You know what I mean? These other people that don't pay my bills can suck my dick from the back. No, you know what I mean? Like, that's it.
I always say that, like, show, don't tell. You know what I mean? Like, you can say that you are committed all you want, but you got to show me that you're committed.
People say everything they want to say to you without ever saying nothing. People say all of it right to you without ever even saying. Most people don't have the balls to come tell you to your face what they feel. You know what I mean? But
so that's I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
No, I was going to ask. You guys train exclusively no-gi at 10th Planet. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So you still have the belt system. I've had this conflict with or not conflict, but I've had this conversation with a couple different people in jiu-jitsu over the years. But like, I'd be interested in your opinion, the importance of the belt ranking system and or belts in general. So if you guys aren't wearing gis in general, belts kind of don't really like literally matter, but in general, as far as like showing accomplishment, giving that kind of acknowledgement, does it, like, in your personal opinion, how important is the belt ranking?
It's important, man. Everybody's journey is different, man. Like, if you're a world-class competitor, who gives a shit about belts? If you're trying to beat everybody and be the best, absolutely. Yeah, you don't give a fuck what belt you are. I can beat anybody, but it's a way, as an instructor, as someone that like helps people develop over time, it's a way I can recognize their hard work. You know what I mean? It's a way I can be like, hey man, you're really doing your thing and you've leveled up. And, now with this belt comes some responsibility, comes some, you can help me with the newer students, or here's the key to the gym and you can open for me or whatever. You know what I mean? The way I can give back to my students. So, Pete, dude, the internet can fucking, like I said, like,
yeah,
people can take their opinion and shove them way up their ass. You know what I mean? They're not in it like I am. You know what I mean? Like, 10th Planet, I only give a shit about jiu-jitsu because of 10th Planet, because of Eddie Bravo and Joe Rogan. Like, so, people don't like what Eddie did. Look at the hate Eddie went through when he opened 10th Planet and he tapped Toiler and, John-Jacques Machado and all that stuff, man. He went through hell getting this stuff going. Now it's the dominant.
Yeah.
The dominant chain. Well, I mean, not chain, but like I feel like 10th Planet's one of the best teams in jiu-jitsu.
Well, he was more of like Andy was about to ask, I'm assuming.
What were they mad at him? All I know is Eddie Bravo is really good at jiu-jitsu and he's hilarious on Rogan. Why would someone be mad at him?
Well, first off, he dropped the gi. Yeah. So that was a big.
That was controversial
for the more traditional guys. Like, everyone trained gi. Like, even nowadays, like a big percentage of people that train jiu-jitsu start in a gi, unless you start at like a B team or a. Now the guys that are in competition now they're more really primarily focused on no gi.
Yeah.
MMA changed a lot because they were all looking around like, what's this gi got to do with
Right.
MMA? You know, a lot of my one black belt, Dave Romano, he's a stud. He was a white belt his whole life. I mean, the guy is a savage. He's bigger, stronger than me, can tap black belts, still a white belt. I promoted him straight to brown belt when I opened my gym, and he was a black belt in a year. But they wouldn't give him his black belt because he never put the gi on. The guy's a savage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to go learn gi, learn gi. You know, start with a white belt and learn gi and get your black belt in the gi too. But people aren't really worried about, you know, the tradition and stuff. You know, that's important, like why things are the way they are, but also like, you know, moving on and like doing what is effective and making people money is another thing too, you know. But Eddie got all kinds of shit for doing what he did. He started a no-gi gym, you know, MMA based. You know, when he did combat jiu-jitsu, you know, I was the first guy at EBI. I don't know, you know EBI?
EBI.
No, I don't.
EBI is like his show, the Eddie Bravo Invitational. It's yeah. I was on EBI 11. I was the first. I fought Chad George, who was the eventual world champion. I fought him as a brown belt. I was a 28-year-old brown belt. He was a 34-year-old killer and mixed martial artist in combat jiu-jitsu, which is jiu-jitsu that you can like palm strike. Have you guys seen any of that?
Yes. Yeah. That's like is it palm striking? I thought they were allowed to slap. Are they allowed to like palm strike too?
When you say slap, it offends me a little bit. Like not
Okay,
like it doesn't really offend me. No,
okay.
I'm just saying like people like to say the term slap because it's like, yeah, slap. Like, bro, I can use the palm of my hand. I can throw it through your fucking face. You know what I mean?
No,
that is win by knockout.
Well, that is the difference because that was the thing with Boss Rutan in early shoot wrestling was you weren't allowed to use a closed fist, so you could only use an open hand slap.
In a real fight, you really wouldn't use your closed fist.
Right, but he would like chamber
Yeah.
it essentially and fucking like that,
Yeah,
like use it as a strike. So
hit someone with the heel of the palm in their face, you're gonna feel it. You know.
Can you do that in combat jiu-jitsu as well, like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Open palm.
Damn. So that's
Open
fucked
palm. So people call it like slap jits, and yes, you can slap, but it's kind of a way of like degrading it. You know what I mean? Like use your words more carefully. You know what I mean? Like you're talking to guys that are killers.
Well, we're talking about, well, it's almost like calling us like it's like trying to talk shit to even like one of those people that get like slap each other in the face, the slap fighting people. Like even those people I wouldn't talk shit to. So
those are like, that's kind of like some freak show that Dana put together to make money. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. We're just gonna stand in front of each other and slap each other. But it kind of came from that. Like there was no talk of open hand striking until Eddie did Combat World. So I mean, anytime you break new ground, anytime you upset the status quo, there's gonna be people that fucking hate you for no, you know, you're gonna have to deal with it. It comes with the territory.
That was the question I had about so it's so surprising that he got so much shit for dropping the gi because you would think some of that pressure would be taken off because of Valley Tudo and stuff like that early on.
Yeah.
Early
like Lucha Libre and stuff.
Yeah, Lucha Libre, like early no gi, where essentially Andy, like early on, no gi jiu-jitsu was kind of invented as like it was because it was more of a financial thing. Like it was kind of a status, like that, like to afford the gi and to afford the like all this other shit. Like you need this, like they just wanted to get shorts and fucking wrestle, dude. You know what I mean? Like it
makes sense. The gi's a couple bucks. I remember I tried jiu-jitsu for a month forever ago. Yeah. And I remember being like, damn, I got this gi and I fuck it because the gym shut down or whatever the fuck. Yeah. And I was like, damn, I spent all this money on this gi. So I get that logically. A gi's a couple bucks to start up.
But there's such subtle technique to no gi grappling that it's like it's so intricate that like getting shit even after Valley Tudo already exists, like they were giving them shit, but giving Eddie Bravo shit is crazy. But I'm glad that he's able to turn it into not only its own thing, but also like invent other martial arts like lanes for people. Because to me, one of my biggest things that I feel like I would be an advocate for instead of homelessness, instead of caring for animals, was finding careers for retired MMA fighters. Because like there's just not enough. Not all of them can do commentary. Not all of them can be on the desk. not all of them can talk. So grappling competition. I love watching grappling competition. Those spectacles, like anything like that, the Submission Underground, anything where it's like
I got to do a Submission
John
Underground.
Jones.
I was on Shug 3.
Really?
Yeah.
I probably watched your match. I probably watched you grapple already.
I'm on Submission Underground 3, and yeah. How about have you seen what Craig Jones is doing?
No, was the karate combats?
Well, those are cool too. Those are fucking sweet.
The hit submission.
Yeah, no, those are awesome.
Are you talking about him fighting what's her face?
Well, no, yeah. Well, Craig Jones is doing his own event, kind of usurping ADCC, which is crazy.
Yes, I did hear about that. Yes.
Yeah.
He's
props to him.
Yeah, he's like, remember a couple years ago, Andy, Ari and Shane had a bunch of like a comedy show like the night before Skankfest or something like that.
Okay.
It was like a couple years ago. They were planning like the night before Skankfest was supposed to start, which is this big comedy festival. They planned this huge comedy show to try to essentially usurp some of the fans from the Skankfest to come to this show instead. And like the same idea, Craig Jones is kind of doing the same thing, having a jiu-jitsu competition around arguably one of the biggest, probably biggest in grappling.
Well, that happens a lot of times too in the pro wrestling, like WWE type wrestling, the pro wrestling world, where whenever WrestleMania happens or SummerSlam, a bunch of indie shows pop up that same weekend. So they'll do a show at like noon. They'll get a bunch of people there, get them drinking, and then when that's over, they mosey on over to WrestleMania. So that makes sense.
Yeah. They do the biggest that pro wrestling ever was, if I'm not mistaken, was when WCW was fighting WWE. That was like the best of, is this guy going to come over here and we're going to see this matchup? Same thing in MMA. Like, remember when Pride was like, Pride had fighters and UFC had fighters and we want to see this guy. So it's jiu-jitsu and is blowing up super hard right now. So it's beautiful to watch. The chaos of it, like all the chaos is kind of like elevating everyone's game. Because if you're coming with some weak sauce, I'll just go over here. You know what I mean?
It's cool. It's so cool to see. Yeah, you're right. And like, if you don't have the matchup that I like, if you don't have, I would love to see Khabib and GSP in a fucking grappling match. That would be fucking something incredibly
amazing. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen, dude.
Why can't it though? There's no reason it can. But you can have the money. That's what I'm saying. Who doesn't want to watch that? So there's you have the audience for it for sure, but like there's still that aspect of I love to see over the growth of MMA even over the years. Whereas like back in the day in 2005 or something like that, when I started watching, like as soon as they hit the ground or clinched or there was any kind of technique being used, people would boo and go like, what the fuck is happening? To whereas now, like you still see them boo, but like the ref is like, let them work. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
The ground game's come a million years. Did you watch that UFC last night?
Yes, I was there. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings reporting for duty.
Nice.
Hey, and Andy, you'll appreciate I had a little cake and ice cream to close out.
Oh yeah, Pat loves to go to Buffalo Wild Wings, get his little dish of cake and watch his fight.
Hey. I had my B-dubs era back in the day, dude. Love me some B-dubs.
That was
it's a good spot, dude, because the fights are like they're gonna run you like $75 at this point. You might as well go to Buffalo Wild Wings, crush some beers, eat a few cakes, have a good fucking night.
Yeah. Spend the 75 at there.
Yeah. But that was like that. Watching that event, even like all the fights going the distance. Them tying.
I passed out. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I stream the fights on my phone. I don't pay for them. Fuck that. If you're a UFC fan paying for every pay-per-view, you got a lot of extra money.
Yeah. I don't.
It costs like $4,000 a year to be a UFC fan. So, I watch them. I pass out. I love MMA, dude. I've been watching MMA since it was around. So
yeah.
I pass out. If there are long fights, I hate when they put the women fights like a 5-round female fight before the main event. That always fucking takes me right out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the other thing about the UFC. They always go till like 1 a.m. and shit.
Yeah, they're late. Yeah, they're late. Dude, Dude, the UFC is the UFC. I mean, I love that Trump's there. You see that, Trump gets fucking found guilty and everyone loves him.
Huge
Classic, dude.
Huge pops.
Classic.
Everybody's running out there to talk to him. Everybody's gesturing to him or pointing to him, thumbs up, something like that. Like but also Trump had a huge hand in helping the UFC. Like I know Dana White talks about it every time, like he has to when he has Trump there or something like that. But like, it's a thing of like that he was so helpful in garnering that kind of like the early UFC and everything like that, like actually bringing it into like his own, whether it be like vouching for them or actually just bringing them into his venues and stuff like that. Like, whereas a lot of places,
Trump's the man. Trump's the man.
Yeah. So
they're trying to kill him, dude. They're trying to get him out of there. That's next. You better watch out. You know what I mean?
Do you think he's going to jail?
Fuck no. No, he's gonna be the next president, dude. He's gonna be the next president. He's going to jail.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Jail. Fuck him.
I was shocked they convicted him because the dude gets out of everything. But then I was dude. It's like easier to learn Mandarin than to figure out what they got him on, because it's like what they got him on was bullshit. And then on top of that, they had to like change a law for a year because it got rid of like statute of limitations. It's insane how far this dude's going. And like, they've thrown the whole fucking, they've just thrown everything at him.
We were just talking about it with Eddie, man. It's the same thing. If you're going to stand up for what you think is right, you're going to have to eat a big shit sandwich. So
yeah.
We're going to see, the people are going to vote. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people are holding out for RFK. I'm not big on RFK. I remember when Trump was around, everything was good. I remember that until the fucking world shut off and they fucking went haywire. You know what I mean? Like, he's an asshole. Like, I think some guy on TV said it. He's an asshole, but he's our asshole. It just makes sense, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let him fucking tell these people to fuck off and pay what they need to pay, and all this Russia, all this Palestine shit, that'll go away. I mean, dude, he literally fucking got out the way and let everyone see what they voted for. And now we're Palestine and Israel, fucking Russia and Ukraine. They're stealing our fucking tax money.
China and Taiwan, like nobody talks about that, but
shit,
they were positioning.
It's a fucking scary time,
Yeah.
He gets back in office, you know what I mean? Now we got our balls back, you know what I mean? We're not shitting our pants anymore, so.
Yeah, hopefully, because a lot of people, like Trump had a lot of opportunities his first time. A lot of people sort of give him the pass saying like, well, he didn't know what he was coming into. So if I'm being optimistic, I would like to see if Trump gets back in there, hopefully he learned his lesson and he can fucking right the ship this time, but we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, who knows, man? I have hope. Hope. That's all you can hope. That's all you can ask for.
You gotta, because the other option is like, well, if you don't have hope, then just go fucking sit on the couch and eat Chips Ahoy and get fat. Because then what, you know what I mean?
That's what a lot of people are doing. Yeah.
I appreciate that, because we talk about that on the pod a lot, where a lot of people essentially approach some of these topics like, well, it's going to be hard and it's probably not going to happen. And I go, I mean, that's not a good reason to me, man. Like you gotta have hope. You gotta try, and you can't just give up because it's hard. That right. Makes me feel like a bitch. Be like, right. Oh, it's hard. I'll stop and go fucking crawl into a hole. I don't like that.
Yeah, and that's you can't give up.
That's something that personally, like, or even like, you can get from whether it be weightlifting or even jujitsu, any kind of training. Really, you get that kind of thing of like, yeah, it's hard. Do it.
Yeah,
like
you are more driven towards the challenging or hard thing because you're like, yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. Like that's you're not going to necessarily cower away from something just because it's daunting or anything. So I think it's a mindset thing too.
Yeah. All right, man.
I have some company. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like we could do this for another 2 hours. This was a great time.
Yeah, this was
man,
a lot of fun.
I would love to jump back on this and do this again sometime soon. We didn't even crack. I feel like we didn't even crack the surface. I could tell you guys so much about my story and stuff. Nazareth Jiu-Jitsu, 10th Planet Nazareth.
Yeah.
Go
classic
check them the
fight
fuck
team,
out.
Nazareth, Pennsylvania. You want to learn how to strike? You want to learn how to punch people, kick people in the head? I got guys out in Thailand right now holding it down. I got guys out in Austin, Texas, winning jiu-jitsu competitions. Nazareth, Pennsylvania, the Lehigh Valley. We're crushing it all over the world. So hit us up. Doc Holland 911 on Instagram, at 10P Nazareth on Instagram. It was really cool getting to know you guys. I know Andy, but Pat, it was cool hanging out. I wish you guys the best of luck in Austin with your comedy. It's the same as jiu-jitsu, guys. You guys just don't give up. You're going to be all right. You know what I mean? Just hang in. And we can do this anytime. You guys hit me up. You have my shit. Can I clip this out and put this on my Instagram and stuff?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm gonna try to, if I can, I'm not leaving until probably mid-July. So I'm gonna try to, if I can, I'm gonna try to come out to train out there with you one day. I'll try to
fuck yeah, man. That would be what's up.
Head up there, get some of your knowledge and hopefully get fucking choked out by some of your wonderful students.
Let's do it. All right. I appreciate your time, guys. Okay.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
So much, man.
You guys are the man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Man, dude.
Be safe.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I can't believe you called that shit slapping, you fucking idiot.
That's fucking
You're so fucking stupid. You're
I'm not here to split hairs, and I know.
Nah, you're a fucking idiot.
Up here, like through this, but like it's called slapping.
Yeah, you waited till he left, you fucking pussy.
Yeah, I am a
yeah, he's gonna slap your dick and put it up your ass.
Palm striking to me was always this, and I was like, I don't see a lot of this. I see a lot of this, which is, what is it? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
I get what he was saying though, and like I didn't know. I never know what's like a fucking offensive or not. But I was gonna. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay. His other screen fucking popped up, but
he's still here.
Actually, he's still here. Pat, quick, get out of here! You fucking. It's not. Sorry, JM. It's not slapping. No. I was also gonna think, because you know how there's always. I send you the clips all the time because they make me laugh. Where it'll call like jujitsu gay, or it'll be like a dude in public using jujitsu, and then he immediately gets on his back.
Yeah,
and because I didn't know exactly how to ask the question, because I got to imagine regular gi jujitsu is obviously useful in real life.
Yeah,
but if like, what was he calling it? Combat jujitsu, where he's talking about palm strikes and how like a palm strike is the more logical thing to do in a fight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was just, I was thinking about that and I was like, it's kind of ironic people were shitting on Eddie Bravo so much, because from what I can tell, it sounds like combat jiu-jitsu is substantially more practical than traditional jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and it again, it's not in the gi ever. It's always going to be no gi. So and you don't strike until you hit the ground. So like it's not going to be, so basically I believe you still start standing. I think you still have to get the takedown, or essentially it's not until you're actually connected with the person down on the ground, actually, until you can actually start striking. So and I don't believe you hit to the face. Oh no, you can't hit to the face. I can't remember the exact. Obviously, he knows more of the rules than I can. Yeah. But it's one of those things of like, it just seemed like it would have been so fucking like annoying and painful when jiu-jitsu is so frustrating and painful already in a lot of cases. So it was a thing that I never was really drawn to, but I get I get the clarification, because to me it was like it's almost more like it's also perspective too. If you call it slapping, then it does definitely have more of a spectacle feel to it, instead of it's just another tier between pure grappling and like MMA, to where like you're not this weirdo that's holding a foam, floaty behind your back and getting slapped on ESPN Plus or whatever for the Dana White slap fight series.
Yeah,
there's actual athleticism here. Like you have to gain the advantage. But I was actually going to bring up this one, and I think this is another fun tier to this, where there's two people grappling, usually no gi, and then somebody just throws down a prop gun, and then it's whoever can get to the gun first wins.
Yeah, I think wait, that's like a thing, right?
Yeah. It's like there's an actual lane on the internet that I was like, what about that? Or car jujitsu. I didn't even bring up car jujitsu.
What was I gonna say? I don't know. I can't remember. I definitely am excited to get into a little bit of a jiu-jitsu when we get down there. I think that will be a fun time. Because yeah, that was always like my thing. Is I've just never had like I'm sure with just my size and the momentum I can build, and I'm really good at grabbing an object nearby me. I'm sure I could hold my own in a fight. But just from a traditional stance, I've never had like the proper training and education on fighting and shit like that. So I think having that understanding on the thing will, I don't know, I think it'll just add to my life.
Yeah, no, it does. It has like that's why I was asking him about like what he got out of jujitsu, because to me it gives you a lot of confidence, and it also gives you a lot of like it teaches you the amount of possibilities at hand most of the time. Like if you roll like a million times with a person, you may end up in the same move like multiple times for sure, but it's not always going to be the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're actively trying to do something like jujitsu, unless it's super early on and they just keep getting you in the same exact position, like you have so many different opportunities allotted to you. That's what like we kind of started talking about a little bit with JM, but like the fights last night, like Dustin Poirier against Makhachev, there were so many situations that Dustin Poirier was put in by this fucking Dagestani, and I've seen him like crumble,
Get out of that.
no, give up. Like there's multiple title fights I've seen him in where somebody gets his back and he just like, I'm like, I don't know,
Poirier.
man. Yeah, Poirier. Yeah, like where
really.
Yeah. And like Khabib choked him out. I'm pretty sure Oliveira choked him out, or not choked him out, but won by
Got his back.
Yeah. So he was getting in these same positions with Islam, and he was just defending, and he looked like proficient. He looked confident, and that's what you get from training. That's what you get from experiences over time. You're in these fucking dangerous, crazy situations with this even younger version of this guy that you've already been in this situation with before, that he's in his fucking corner. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you're just sitting here you're just doing exactly what you need to do. Like all you need to do, fight the hands, push the elbow away, fight the hands, push the elbow.
Can I ask you this question? I'm like a super casual fan. I go through my spurts where I'll watch a little bit more regularly, but I gotta be honest, like, maybe when we get down to Austin, we can hit up a Buffalo Wild Wings together and shit, split a cookie dessert and wrap our hands and eat it together or whatever. But I gotta be honest, like with right now, the fucking with the $75 pay-per-views or ever fucking much. Well, you got to get ESPN Plus, then you got to spend another $75. It's crazy. But so that's keeping me from watching the fights too regularly and shit like that. But like as someone who watches the fights super regularly, is it a thing where is it still fun with all the Dagestani bros, or do you see them roll up and you just go like, well, let's watch them win tonight?
Well, with usually the thing with Khabib for most of his fights, like I don't think I got to watch him fight live until his last fight with Justin Gaethje. But when you're watching him, it's like this weird thing where you're watching him and you're like, oh, he's kind of awkward, and then you're like, oh, there might be, he might lose this fight, and then he fucking just again shoots in, pushes him against the cage, wraps his legs up, and you're like, oh, there it is, and you know what I mean, like it like. So with Makhachev, you didn't get that as much because I feel like he would lose these positions, but I also feel like he was dealing with a way higher level of grappler. So the fights that I've seen Islam fight in most of the way, if it's not an elite grappler, it is like that, where if he gets his arms wrapped around you, he's going to drag you down and he's just going to fucking smother you or choke you out. Gotcha. And it's crazy. It's nuts. But when he fights somebody that has grappling ability, it becomes a way better fight. So it's not necessarily a death sentence anymore because the level of grappling in general, not just with the casuals or the hobbyists, but with the actual fighters, it's becoming so much more elite.
That's a good point. You always forget guys come in with this new thing that no one else knows how to counteract it.
Yeah.
And then you give it a couple years and everyone starts to figure it out.
Yeah, it's like what's his face? Israel Adesanya for the longest time was so elusive with his striking. that like all it took was Sean Strickland just to literally just pressure him, just to not be afraid of his striking.
Yeah.
Be ultra defensive, and that's
Well,
all.
and he just kept whispering the N-word, so
Yeah.
that really like took him off of his game.
Hey, Chinaman, you dog fucking Chinaman. Hey, Chinaman. Hey, Chinaman, dog fucker. And he was like, he was talking shit about him in the fucking press conference last night. It's like, dude, stop. He hasn't fought in a while. There's no reason for you to talk shit about Israel Adesanya. You don't have the title. He didn't have the title. If he comes back, he's not fighting you. He's going to fight for the title.
Well, you just remind Sean Strickland his dad fucked his mouth, and he'll be like, "You don't fucking say that." Dude, I know I say the most fucked up shit to everybody, but you don't say that to me.
He ended the fight with Paulo Costa last night the exact same way. He had the exact same fucking, except for he wasn't like screaming as much, but he was doing this weird like front kicks and just running at him and shit.
Bless you. You only get one.
No, which one? Did you use it on the first one or the second one? Second one was
first
worse.
one. Second one, fuck yourself.
God damn it. But yeah,
second
he
one,
did the same thing. But hey, Andy, that was a really good conversation. Great job.
No. Wait, what were you gonna say?
Oh, that he
Strickland.
He did the same thing that he did with Adesanya, where he's like running down and like just jump kicking at him and shit like that near the end. It's like that was the last 10, maybe 7 seconds, 10 seconds were the really super entertaining part of that fight.
So I know we kind of tiptoed into it for a second, but I really want to talk about the Trump shit, but I have to violently piss.
Okay, violently piss.
That's yeah. Dude, it'd be so funny if you just hear me go like, ah! I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, I won't talk about that, but I'll talk about the rest of the card. Basically, everything went the distance except for Kevin Holland against the guy in which he broke his arm. Whoever that was, I can't remember the guy's name, but it was cool to see him grappling. He is a Travis Lutter black belt. We're just talking a lot about jiu-jitsu today, so if you don't like it, I'm sorry. But yeah, he is an excellent grappler. Kevin Holland, big mouth. That was an interesting one. I think he was the only person on the card that I wanted to win that won. Everybody else that won was like, it was just kind of like every pick that I made was wrong. So if I had bet, if I was at the casino eating my cookie ice cream with my MMA, but I would have probably lost at least 20 or 40 bucks last night, because my upset of the night was I thought Paulo Costa was going to knock out Sean Strickland. That didn't happen. I just thought it was possible, you know? And then I think the other one was I thought Dustin Poirier was actually going to pull it out, but didn't. And Romanov fought Almeida at heavyweight. And that was another one where that one went way too quick. That was really frustrating. But speaking of jiu-jitsu and competitions as well, Romanov trains in Baltimore, and I ended up actually at one of the same competitions as him one time, and a person that I train with in Harrisburg actually competed against him. Said he was I'm pretty sure he handled him pretty, not handedly, but you know, he's an MMA fighter. He was still purple belt, but yeah, it was a good card. Hey Andy, how's it going?
Hey, thanks for that. Yo, you remember the fucking dudes who got caught in the Congo?
Oh yeah.
What happened to them? You notice that just
I literally heard nothing else after just that one report.
Dude, because I was like scrolling, I bookmark a lot of things I want to talk about or that interest me. I bookmark them on Twitter, and I was scrolling through to double check, and I have this post from the middle of May when those two, it was like CIA agents or something like that, affiliated with like the CIA or something.
Yeah.
They got caught in the Congo, and it's just like
they're trying to do a coup.
Yeah, and it just like went away, and you're like, oh, so that was definitely something.
Yeah, there. I think there's been a lot of those stories coming up that are like that's why we're hearing about like Diddy. That's why we're hearing about like J. Cole, or not J. Cole. Who was it? Drake, and who's the other guy?
Kendrick. Well, that's just a rap beef.
But that, I honestly feel like these are plants. Like I think these are things that are like, hey, focus on this, focus on this, focus on this, and like something else happens. But it just so happens that one of these things still seeps through every once in a while.
Well, and this kind of correlates to one thing I wanted to talk about before we wrap it up, because I forgot, but there's Thai food waiting for me. Yeah. He turned into Tim Taylor. No, it was one of the Trump things. I don't know if it was the verdict or what, but there was like a Trump thing recently, or there was a big thing, and then you saw all these other. It was a big thing that was trending, and then it was like, oh yeah, by the way, Joe Biden authorized American missiles being used in Ukraine, which is fucking insane. Because it's like, from what I've gathered from much smarter people, Ukraine is a subject I'm very weak on. But from what I've gathered from all the people smarter than me talking about Ukraine, that shit was lost before we even started helping them. Yeah. And it's like, and it's like, guys, you're really gonna fucking start World War III over something that's definitely not gonna fucking succeed?
Yeah,
it's insane. It's fucking insane. But I don't know. I always hold on to. I don't know. It's like my bigger conspiratorial brain always just humors the idea. I was like, maybe they just all chat every night on a Zoom call, being like, "Can you believe what we do to these fucking idiots?" Because I just go like, it's kind of crazy. There hasn't been like a second nuke, or I should say technically a third nuke that's gone off. It not that I don't want it, but part of me feels like it's crazy it hasn't happened yet. But
at this point, with all as many like warlords, like at the weirdo people that they're saying are crazy dictators that are saying like we have nuclear weapons and we will use them on anybody and all this other shit, and then you're like, they just don't ever. And then you're like, oh, so they're not actually crazy, or maybe they're lying about it. But then you're like, it's funny because the theories a lot of times are like, oh, we're headed towards a new world order. I think you're right. I think it's already there. I think they're already talking about it, and they're already just like, can you believe this shit? Like, we're having this war, and a bunch of these civilians are dying.
Well, dude,
who cares?
I swear to God, like the deeper I get onto anything, it's like, you see some of the shit where it's like we're just a bunch of, it's like Earth is like an ant farm, so aliens can harvest our souls or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's like the more we get of those. What was I saying? What was I trying to get at? I just like the more we do this shit. Like I think I was talking about before, where I go, I mean, we haven't. Well, I guess the thing for me that, I used to think I more or less categorize myself as an anarchist, anarcho-capitalist. You know what I mean? Like I don't think we need governments. You know what I mean? But then at the same time, I think we can just exist through voluntary exchange. We already do it a lot. We don't have to get into the weeds on it. That's just how I feel. But then I go and I look at a lot of these other people where I don't know what it is exactly. Like maybe I'm just too deep into my own shit that I'm starting to not understand how normal people could maneuver their way. And you look and it's like, fine, you don't have to be as deep as me, but how many times can one government and government employees lie to you before you're like, hey, I don't know if we really need this. You know what I mean? I would accept everyone just being like, hey, why don't we make this smaller? Because it doesn't really seem like you guys are ever doing anything for us, like ever.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then you're like, I sit there and I would rather it be a bunch of aliens controlling people's behavior, because that would be honestly more pleasant than the dark reality of what I'm assuming it is.
Yeah.
That's where I'm humoring some of the more what feel like outrageous conspiracies, because I go, that would make me feel better if it was fucking aliens and shit like that.
It would make sense. Yeah. Or even just the fact that or you've been trying to make us think that there's alien this whole time, but you just have super high tech. Like we said, like how many times were we talking about what was it? God damn it, I have it written down somewhere. But the Inventor Secrecy Act, the thing where they had the They just kept taking all of that advanced technology that people were coming up with, which, by the way, I don't know how advanced it was. If they were just like, oh, it turns out you can just run a car on water. And they're like, yeah, we know that. We're going to kill you now. You know what I mean? Like we do gas around here, fella. You're dead. So like,
no, I think it is.
Oh, you figured it out? Whoa! Like,
oh yeah, no, it's not hard to figure out. We just don't want you to do it. So you're dead, nerd.
Oh, look at that! You committed suicide twice, 2 shots in the back of the head. Bing, bing.
Ooh, why'd you drive out into this field and walk a mile and kill yourself, idiot?
Yeah, you stupid idiot. You're so clumsy. He's such a clumsy fella.
You're not even good at killing yourself. Most people do it in their home. You're a dumb idiot who does it in the middle of a field.
Dude, that is our first shirt. That is our first shirt right there. Somebody blindfolded in a field with a car next to it and somebody with a gun to the back of their head that says, quit killing yourself.
What's the timestamp? Edit that out.
126.
Bro.
Quit killing yourself. Quit killing yourself.
That's the fucking shirt. It's someone on their knees blindfolded and the car's next to him and he's got a gunshot to the back.
His family's in the car and the guy's got a shotgun to the back of his head and it says, quit killing yourself with those speech bubbles.
Stop. No, it has to say, stop. No, it would just say, stop killing yourself. Stop killing yourself. Stop killing yourself. Yo, that's a good shirt.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you look into any of this Trump stuff?
I was gonna wait till the sentencing because it was a thing of like 34 counts of, if I remember correctly, it's basically paying to fuck Stormy Daniels, but then not necessarily the money to pay to fuck her, but the money to keep her quiet for not to say that she fucked him. But then she did, and then he's also gonna go to jail for it.
So what I've gathered is it's literally like they filed it wrong because like it's something like they got him on a technicality because the video I was watching, the way the guy was explaining, because he's like, it's like, yeah, they didn't file it as hush money for a hooker. Yeah. So they're getting him on. And the funniest part is, well, not funny because we're starting to realize we live in a banana republic, but the funniest part is
the other delicious part besides the bananas
is because of the statute of limitations. From what I understand, because of the statute of limitations, this is like a misdemeanor at best.
Yeah.
And so they, like I was saying it earlier, they literally like changed the law, got him, and then changed the law back. Right. It's like I'm not even a Trump dude. I don't think anyone in there is going to make it better. Like, I'm not even like a Trump dude. That's why I was saying to JM, I was like being chill about it. Like, I hope you're right. I don't think you are. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
But like, it's so contrived how they're fucking trying to get this guy. It's insane how like blatant they're trying to be. But this goes back to like how just, I don't know, under the fucking control everyone's brains are with like the Trump derangement syndrome, where these people just look at the fucking, like, it's the same people that are going to cry about how the criminal justice system, like, affects minorities in a higher percentage, which it does. I'm not saying it doesn't, but like, that's going to be one of their main issues and shit like that. But then they look at Trump and they just go, the guy I don't like is getting arrested. I like that. And you're like, What the fuck is that, man? Like, I remember I was talking to a friend about some shit where, it was Nate because he was talking about how he doesn't like, there's this economist that Jesus fucking Christ, this is embarrassing that I can't remember his name. Thomas Sowell. That was embarrassing. I couldn't remember his name. He's like the fucking man. But no, I was busting Nate's balls because he was like, I don't like Thomas Sowell because look at his fucking hair. His hair's crazy, but he's also just like an old man he's an old economist. He doesn't give a fuck about his hair.
Didn't that Warren Buffett guy look weird too? Didn't he have crazy hair or something? Am I thinking of the wrong guy?
No, I think Warren Buffett was kind of chill.
I thought there was another weirdo billionaire. Or there's definitely that guy from the Raiders. If you're talking about billionaires that look like fucking dickheads, the owner of the Raiders.
Warren Buffett looks fine. But no.
Sorry.
And I remember, and Nate was and I was just like, wait, why did I bring up this fucking point? Oh yeah, like Nate was like, well, what if I was trying to tell him, I was like, who gives a fuck about his hair? The dude says a bunch of shit that's like on point. And Nate's like, well, how would you feel if some blue-haired, weird-looking progressive lefty type was saying a bunch of good libertarian shit? I'd be like, hell yeah. Why do you look like that? But hell yeah. And like it kind of goes to my point where I go, just because they don't match up with my thing, I'm also not gonna, on the flip side of that, if the blue-haired progressive person is gonna get, okay, perfect example. I was joking about this before, but during the like BLM protests and the riots and shit like that, when there was a bunch of like, I hate Antifa. I think they suck ass. There were a bunch of fucking rich kids cosplaying as revolutionaries and shit like that. They fucking suck ass. But there was the one part where they were getting scooped up by the feds and shit like that. And now, did I giggle? Of course I giggled, but I'm not going to sit there and go, I don't like you guys, so that's good that you're just getting kidnapped by a bunch of feds.
Yeah, you like you see them and you like go over to the van and you'd be like, all right, yeah, guys, we had our fun. Knock it off. You give them the scare.
You go up to the feds, trust me, because I look like one of them.
Yeah,
and I go, guys, hilarious, but we gotta let them go.
We gotta clip the zip ties, guys. Come on, we gotta let them out. Like you can't hold them back here anymore. That's like, I get it, but this is still can't do that. We're American citizens.
It's annoying.
Treat us with a fucking respect and under the laws of the nation.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just
it's weird, the double standard. Like we were just talking about that the last show about bullying. It's the same idea of like you're sitting here talking about like if a cop that like shot a guy that was running at him with a knife and they're like it was a play knife, and you're like, all right, well, I mean, you're like, and then they don't go to jail. They're like, this is an injustice. The justice system is fucked. And then they do something like this where they're like, hey, we're going to turn this misdemeanor into a thing that we can totally fuck your life with. And we're going to, and they're like, good, because it happened to a guy we don't like. Yeah, it's like, well, no, you can't just say that. So what you're saying is you can't just be a part of, your team isn't justice. Like that's the thing. It's like you can't just say that you have the right, and then also pick and choose when you're going to say you want the laws, or when it's the letter or the law, the spirit of the law. You know what I mean? Like you can't have it. You can't pick and choose like that, because I mean, I guess you can, because people do.
Oh, yeah. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're just like a fucking hypocrite.
But I think ultimately, even but I remember them reporting this way early on. Doesn't matter what he goes to jail for. Even if he is in jail, he can run and be elected president. So it's I don't even any of this. It still matters not, guys. He can still absolutely lead from jail. He could still absolutely get elected from jail. Like it's so petty and so transparent, and it's like its attempt of just trying to embarrass and like and punish this person you don't like.
Yeah, like, and it goes back to what am I trying to say? It goes back to a lot of times where I forgot my thought. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Was it about candy?
I think I'm just focusing on this Thai food.
I know you said Thai food, and I like every couple of minutes your eyes just kind of dart over to the door.
Yeah, and I just think like Trump was probably eating Thai food, and
he probably had Mugu Gai Pan one time or something like that. I know.
I probably had it with those little peanuts on it too.
Spring rolls. That remind you of anything?
Yeah, you know what's overrated? The fucking what's it called? It's like the rolls with like the rice paper, like the clear paper.
Yeah, I had a good one last night. I had a Vietnamese one with pork in it. It was delicious, but normally it's like with the little cold wormy noodles in there and everything.
No, I'm talking about like they'll give you like a little wrap, and it's like the clear white shit.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I got it at the Vietnamese place though. Maybe that's it. Maybe you're going the wrong Asian.
Maybe we gotta go there.
Yeah, you gotta try Vietnamese pho.
No, I've had pho. We have a really good pho place. All right, I think we're all talked out.
When we run out of topics, we go right to food.
Oh my Jesus Christ!
Look for our new shirts coming soon. That's our first act in Austin. we got to find a fucking t-shirt press because they'll fucking love to print that. And
yeah, we got to find.
We'll sell 6 at the printer when we just tell them about the idea.
We gotta find some crust punk with a t-shirt company. They'll love to print that. And no, we could. Right? Well, no, it reminded me of a thing. That's right. I was gonna. The conversation kind of went a different direction, and I was gonna bring. Oh shit! Did I get rid of the bookmark? No.
Oh, there was a shirt that I used to have that was it was like
fuck.
It was a shirt of this agent, and it was like them kicking in a door with all this family like laying on the ground, and it just says, "Don't worry, I'm from the government. I'm here to help you."
No, there was one I saw. I was gonna bring it up on Drag the Lake because it was a band shirt, and I wanted to talk about outrageous band shirts. But the I forget what band it was, but the shirt was literally a guy. He looked like a street thug. He had a sniper rifle. And the way that the shirt was set up, you could see through the scope.
Yeah.
That the crosshairs was on a cop's head.
Oh my god! Jesus Christ!
And it was I've seen a bunch of shirts in that style, and it'll always be like it'll either be a white outline on a black shirt or a black outline on a white shirt with no other color. And I think that design would go so hard if we had. Like everything you were describing had it just in a black outline on a white shirt. I think that shit would go so hard.
Yeah, black outline on a black outline on a plain shirt or a long sleeve. Yeah, hell yeah, that's our first merch. That's merch right there, baby.
Bro, can you imagine that on like a fucking black long sleeve?
Ugh,
and then on the back it would say "No More Heroes," like a hardcore band.
Yeah, no mo.
Or No More Heroes.
No mo. Is this where we fucking split? This is where we break up. We're like, not only are we not making this shirt, but we're not doing this podcast anymore.
Thanks for listening to the last episode of No More Heroes.
We will never see any of you nomos anymore.
Oh, you missed a perfect opportunity.
What?
We're gonna see you nomos.
No mo.
Come on, man.
It's late.